Have you ever felt like misfortune follows you around no matter how hard you try? Or could it be possible that what you see as bad luck is really your own good fortune quietly slipping away? Welcome back to our channel, where we illuminate the hidden workings of fate, karma, and spiritual insight. Today, we tackle a fascinating yet seldom understood phenomenon, the gradual depletion of personal good fortune, what many misinterpret simply as bad luck. What if every instance of misfortune you encounter is not an arbitrary act of destiny, but rather the outcome of countless small choices you make daily, slowly eroding your storehouse of good karma? This is not about blame, but about understanding how unseen forces shaped by our own actions can subtly influence our lives in profound ways. Most of us think of luck as random, a lottery of fortune or misfortune dealt by a capricious universe. Yet the Buddha taught that everything we experience rises from causes and conditions. No misfortune is truly random, and no blessing is truly accidental. Every outcome is a ripple that began with our own deeds, thoughts, and intentions. This ancient wisdom aligns closely with modern concepts of energy, mindfulness, and psychological health, all of which affirm that how we engage with life profoundly shapes our experiences. Take the case of Martin, a bright software engineer who always seemed on the brink of success but could never quite achieve it. Martin labeled himself unlucky, convinced that no matter how hard he worked, circumstances always conspired against him. Promotions went to less qualified colleagues, lucrative contracts fell through at the last minute, promising investments mysteriously turned sour. Yet Martin never paused to examine the subtle, everyday actions that contributed to his misfortune. Martin habitually complained about co-workers, about workload, about management. Each complaint seemed minor, yet each was a subtle withdrawal from his karmic bank account. She regularly spoke harshly about people behind their backs, believing it harmless venting. What Martin failed to realize was that these habitual negative actions steadily drained the reservoir of good fortune that had once supported his potential. Like tiny leaks in a dam, these negative actions eventually undermined the structural integrity of his karmic reservoir, until misfortune inevitably flowed forth. It was only when Martin encountered mindfulness practice that he began to see clearly. His meditation teacher gently instructed him to observe each impulse to complain, each thought of resentment, each careless criticism. Martin was astonished to discover how relentlessly negative his internal dialogue had become. She realized that each negative thought or word acted like a seed, eventually sprouting into tangible life circumstances. Once he became mindful of this pattern, Martin consciously shifted his habits, replacing criticism with gratitude, complaint with constructive speech. Over months, he witnessed tangible changes. Opportunities appeared more frequently, colleagues grew friendlier, and promotions finally began to materialize. Martin realized that luck had never abandoned him, he had unknowingly drained it away. We all have encountered individuals like Martin, or perhaps we recognize these traits within ourselves. Subtle negative behaviors, constant worry, petty criticism, envy quietly undermine our good fortune. Consider worry, for example. Worry acts like an energetic drain, siphoning off vitality and clarity. Each anxious thought is a subtle act of mistrust toward life itself, planting seeds of insecurity that eventually manifest as situations reflecting that insecurity. Consider the tale of Sarah, who spent years anxious about her finances. Despite a stable job and steady income, she obsessively feared poverty and loss, constantly saving money, yet always feeling insecure. Eventually, Sarah experienced the very financial crisis she dreaded. An unforeseen medical expense drained her savings overnight. Initially, Sarah perceived this as sheer misfortune. Yet when she looked deeper, guided by spiritual teachings, she saw how her relentless anxiety had steadily corroded her sense of abundance, attracting the very scenario she feared most. Once she began practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and generosity even in small acts, Sarah slowly rebuilt her karmic storehouse. She eventually found herself not only financially stable again, but emotionally secure for the first time in her life. Stories like Sarah's and Martin's illuminate a crucial principle: fortune is neither accidental or beyond our influence. Our thoughts, words, and actions constantly shape the energetic currents that guide our lives. This teaching does not imply blame or judgment, but rather empowerment. If we recognize that we have been inadvertently draining our good fortune, we also discover that we have the power to replenish it. In practical terms, replenishing good fortune begins with mindful awareness of daily behavior. Cultivate gratitude by keeping a journal, noting 3 small blessings each day. Transform negative speech into positive or neutral comments. Practice generosity in simple ways. Offer a compliment, help a colleague without expectation. Donate even modestly to charity. Each act of positivity is a deposit into your karmic account, replenishing the fortune you previously drained. To illustrate further, let us consider Mark, a talented musician who habitually envied peers who achieved greater fame or recognition. This envy consumed his thoughts and subtly poisoned his relationships. Opportunities dried up, audiences dwindled, and Mark labeled himself unlucky. Yet one insightful mentor advised him to turn envy into admiration, to genuinely celebrate others' successes. Initially resistant, Mark gradually practiced genuine appreciation. He attended friends' concerts with sincere joy, openly praised their talent, and supported their projects. Astonishingly, Mark soon found his own opportunities multiplying. Collaboration has increased, his performances attracted larger audiences, and recognition arrived naturally. By consciously reversing envy into goodwill, Mark replenished the good fortune he had unconsciously drained. Through stories like these, we see clearly how misfortune arises not from random cosmic punishment, but from a steady erosion of our own energetic storehouse. Equally, fortune can return through deliberate mindfulness, generosity, and gratitude. Each moment provides the opportunity to alter the course of your destiny, not by force, but by gently cultivating positivity. In the remainder of this deep exploration, we will dive further into real-life examples and practical methods for reversing the hidden patterns that drain your fortune. You will learn how small adjustments in your daily routines, mindful breathing, thoughtful speech, conscious generosity can profoundly transform your karmic landscape, turning perceived bad luck into consistent blessings. Thank you for watching this video. May you recognize clearly the subtle actions that shape your life's fortune, and may every mindful choice you make replenish your storehouse of happiness, prosperity, and peace.